In Umuze village, people lived close to one another, and every family matter was known. Ugonwa had always felt so little beside her co-wife Nnenna. She watched as villagers praised Nnenna's son Obinna for his kind nature and wisdom. Though he was still young when the elders announced he would be trained as the next chief priest of Umunze, the hair in Ugonwa's chest tightened. She pretended to be happy for Obinna that day, but deep inside her heart, something bitter was growing. It was not a joy for the family, but an envy she tried to hide. That night, Ugonwa lay awake, staring into the darkness of her heart. She thought of her own son Chisom, who was strong but had never been praised by the elders. Each comparison burned her like hot oil. She muttered, "Why must fate favor Nnenna always?" The more she thought, the heavier the bitterness sat in her stomach. She thought about leaving the compound, taking Chisom and starting a new life somewhere else. But where will she go? Who will take her in? She could not bear the thought of living under Nnenna's shadow forever. The decision took root quietly, like a seed planted in her heart. Ugonwa waited 3 more days before thinking of what to do to Nnenna's son. She acted normally. She even helped Nnenna to clean her oil lamp. But in her head, she was planning something dangerous. She waited until market day when most people would have gone. She told Chisom to stay close to the compound. She didn't want him asking questions. Then she tied her headscarf, packed some dry fish in her cloth to meet a very dangerous dibia that lived in the forest. A few days later, Ugonwa secretly went to a dibia who prepared charms and medicine for people. The dibia man is feared by many people for his evil deeds. The path that led to his hut was narrow, lined with thick forest and silence that pressed against her skin. When she got to the dibia's hut, the dibia listened as she spoke. Though her heart felt hard, he gave her a dark substance, promising that just a taste would bend his destiny. She took it home, hid it under her wrapper. Her hands trembled though her face showed calm. No one must know where she had gone. Back in the compound, children played under the mango tree while women prepared evening meals. Nnenna asked Ugonwa to help her cook for shrine visitors. It was the perfect moment for Ugonwa. Ugonwa ground the substance early and hid it in her wrapper, while Nnenna was at the stream fetching water. Ugonwa sat quietly, mixing the dibia substance into Obinna's food with steady hand. Her eyes followed Nnenna's boy Obinna as he laughed with others, his face glowing in the sunset. She forced her lips into a smile, offering him the meal with careful hands. He ate without fear, not knowing the darkness carried inside the food. Ugonwa turned away before his plate was empty, her chest tight with secret fear. The next morning, Obinna woke up weak. His body, once full of life, could hardly carry him to the courtyard. Sweat ran down his skin, though the air was cool. His mother, Nnenna, rushed to hold him, crying, "Obinna, my son, what is wrong with you?" He shouted for help. The boy's eyes were dull, and his voice faint, as though the world was slowly leaving him. Villagers gathered, whispering their worries. Some thought it was a spirit attack. Others blamed bad air from the forest. No one knew the truth. Days turned into weeks, yet the boy is not getting any better. A native doctor who was called to treat him shook his head, saying he had never seen such a strong sickness before. Nnenna's tears never dried. She prayed to the gods and begged the ancestors, "Please, the gods of our land, save my son." But nothing changed. Ugonwa watched from a distance, her face heavy with false concern, while her heart carried both fear and guilt. He wondered if the cause had gone too far. Every night, the boy's voice echoed in her sleep, though she tried to stay strong. One night, an elder from the village had a strange dream. In the dream, a ghost spoke with a human tongue, saying the truth was buried in his food. The elder woke trembling, his body soaked in sweat. He told the council the next day, and the story spread quickly. People began to look at each other with suspicion. Whispers filled the air. Whispers and murmurs filled the air. Who could have done such a thing to the poor boy? No one spoke it loud, but some eyes turned towards Ugonwa when she passed. The village grew tense, waiting for more signs. Children were told not to wander at night. Women whispered to one another when fetching water. Nnenna grew tinier, carrying her own son's weight and her sorrow. Ugonwa felt the ground under her feet growing unsteady, though no one had proof. She feared the gods might soon reveal her secrets. Her nights grew longer than her day. Her breasts became heavier. The cause she thought would bring peace to her heart only changed her in deeper fear. On the fifth market day, the boy's sickness worsened. He could no longer walk or sit. His small chest rose and fell with effort, each breath in a painful sound. The elders decided to consult the shrine again, offering kolas and fowl. The priest there spoke, saying the gods had been offended. He warned that whosoever caused this will not escape their evil deeds. His words spread like fire through the village. Ugonwa's stomach twisted with fear, as if thorns had grown inside it. That night, Nnenna heard her son close, whispering his name, though his eyes stayed shut. The compound was silent, except for his shallow breathing. Ugonwa sat in her hut, staring at the clear wall. Her hands clenched into fists. She could not undo what she had started. Fear pressed against her, heavier than the envy that once filled her heart. Each sound of the night, the crickets, the owls, felt like calling her name. She wondered how long before everyone would know her secrets. The sickness in Obinna's body grew worse each day. His once bright eyes turned heavy, and his step flowed like a tired old man. Villagers gathered to pray, offering palm oil and firewood to the gods. But no matter what they gave, Obinna's fever only burned hotter. Mother pressed their hands on his forehead, whispering, "Let this child live." Ugonwa stood among them, her face tight with false concern. Inside her heart, she said nothing, only watching as her rival son was wasting before her eyes. Nnenna could not leave Obinna's side. She refused to eat. She refused to sleep, her eyes swelling from tears. People pitied her, saying, "Maybe the gods are testing her faith." Ugonwa looked at her co-wife and felt something strange, a mix of strength and fear. She had wanted this moment, yet the weight of Obinna's suffering pressed on her like a stone. The boy coughed, struggling for breath, and in the silence of the compound, Ugonwa's heart shook, though no one saw it. One night, as the moon hid behind the thick clouds, Obinna drifted into troubled sleep. He began to mutter words no one understood. Nnenna leaned closer, holding him, begging for him to wake up. Suddenly, the voice of a ghost spoke inside his dream. "This sickness is not for the nature. It comes from the hand of an envious one." Obinna trembled, his body drenched in sweat. His lips moved, whispering the words aloud. Those nearby froze in fear as the boy's dream broke into waking life. Nnenna cried so loud, clutching her child. The villagers gathered in confusion, whispering among themselves. Some looked towards Ugonwa, Their eyes sharpened though no one spoke of her name. Ugonwa's heart pounded in her chest. She tried to look calm, but the words of the ghost echoed inside her head like a drum. Could the dream reveal her secrets? Her lips stayed pressed tight, but her hands shook under her wrapper. For the first time, she wondered if her curse would turn back on her. Words of the dream spread quickly across Mose. Old men whispered it at the market, and women repeated it at the stream. A ghost spoke in Obinna's dream. They said, and it says signals come from the envious one. Ugonwa could feel eyes on her back wherever she went. Children stopped their games when she walked past. Their mothers calling them close. She felt the village was closing in, though no one had accused her openly. That night, Ugonwa sat by the fire alone, staring into the darkness. Her thoughts twisted like snakes, asking, what if they truly knew? What if the ghost's voice was the ghost? She pressed her hands to her chest, but the guilt only burned deeper. Still, part of her heart fought, refusing to surrender. Why must my son always be in the shadow of Nnenna's child? Her envy did not die there. It only grew more restless in the silence. The elders gathered under the big Odala tree. Their faces grave with concern. They spoke of the dream and of the secret that no house could cure. Some said it may be witchcraft. Others said it was a punishment from the gods. Nnenna sat among them, her face streaked with tears, holding her son close. Ugonwa sat too, but her body felt heavy. Her skin burning as though fire lit under it. When the oldest elder spoke, his words cut like knife. If this sickness is born from envy, the guilty one will never go unpunished. Ugonwa's hands trembled against her wrapper. She lowered her eyes, afraid that her face would betray her. Inside, her spirit wrenched. Why should I be the one to fall? Why must their voice rise while mine fades? In that gathering, Ugonwa's soul wrestled between fear and pride. But pride held her through tight. That night, the compound was silent except for Obinna's weak breaths. The moonlight spread pale across the huts. Ugonwa lay awake, staring at the thatched roof. Sleep would not come. Her heart beat like a drum against her chest. Each sound in the dark felt like footsteps coming for her. She imagined the elders knocking at her door, dragging her out to the open. Nnenna's sob carried through the night air, piercing Ugonwa's heart. She pressed her finger into her ears, but the sound still entered her soul. Why must her cries sound louder than mine when I was hurt? Ugonwa thought. Yet, no matter how she tried to harden herself, her body kept shaking. The weight of the curse kept pressing down on her. And though no one had pointed a finger at her yet, she felt the rope holding her elbow was so tight. By then, Obinna's breathing had grown shallow. His skin burned, yet his lips were pale. Nnenna knelt beside him, rocking back and forth, singing an old lullaby through her ears. The villagers gathered, holding their breath, waiting for the boy's last moments. Ugonwa stood apart, her body trembling, her heart pounding like thunder. The thought came sharp. If this child dies, they will turn to me. Her hands shook as she prayed silently, words she had never spoken before. As the cock crowed, Obinna stared, his eyes opened slowly, and he whispered, The goat says the truth will rise. The crowd gasped, and Nnenna cried with relief. Ugonwa's stomach twisted. She wanted to run, but her legs felt heavy as stone. The boy's voice carried across the silent compound, striking every ear like a bell. Ugonwa's chest burned with dread. The curse had not silenced him. Instead, it had given him words that pointed towards her. That same evening, the elder sent for a diviner. He came with cowries, feathers, and a small clay pot. The crowd gathered under the moon, watching in silence as he cast the cowries on the ground. His voice was steady. The sickness comes not from nature, but from the shadow of an envious one. Ugonwa first sweat rolled down her back. She pressed her lips tight, but her breathing grew fast. The villagers turned their eyes to her. Their stares were heavy and sharp. Why are they looking at me? She thought, though her heart already knew the answer. The diviner's voice rose. The hand that brought this suffering belongs to one in this very circle. Ugonwa's chest tightened. She lowered her head. Her wrapper was damp with sweat. The nights are ticking, and her silence spoke louder than any word she could have offered. Her tears wetting his hair. Who could do this to my son? He cried. The villager murmured, their voices rising like a restless wind. Ugonwa sat frozen, her body stiffened like a dry wood. Inside, her thoughts ran wide, searching for a way out. Her heart whispered, confess your sins. But her pride fought back, burning like a stubborn fire. The diviner's eye fixed on her. Envy eats from within, he said, and the guilty one cannot hide forever. Ugonwa bowed her head, tears filling her eyes, but her mouth would not open. Around her, whispers grew into open suspicion. Children talked at their mothers' wrappers, asking, is she the one? Ugonwa closed her eyes, wishing she could vanish into the ground. She knew the secret had left her body. It was now in the air, and is not going back. Finally, the diviner pointed a finger towards her, saying that this woman here is the master of all that has been happening to Ugonwa's son, Obinna. The angry youth dragged her out and was calling her evil woman. The elders just told her to sit on the ground. The whole village gathered. Ugonwa sat on the ground and was shaking. Her hands were on her lap. Her eyes were red. The elders asked if she had anything to say about it. She looked down and nodded. Then she started to speak. Her voice was low, almost like a whisper. She told them about the jealousy, about her son Chisom, about how she felt in the eyes of the villagers, how the Dibia gave her the substance. She told them everything. Nobody interrupted her. The following day, Obinna's fever broke. His strength returned slowly, like the first green leaf after harmattan. The villagers celebrated, praising the gods for sparing him. Nnenna lifted her child with trembling hands, smiling through her tears. But in the corner, Ugonwa stood alone, her heart sinking deeper. She had wanted to see Obinna fall, yet he rose instead, and her guilt now shone clearer than before. Her pride wrestled with her fear. Why must I carry this shame? She thought. But the people already carried their judgment in their eyes. At the market, no one greeted her. At the stream, women drew their water in silence. Children pointed and whispered. She returned to her hut each day with her head bent low. The laughter of others cutting like a knife on her skin. On the market day, the villagers called a gathering on a village square. The elders said they will not kill Ugonwa. They said shame was enough punishment for her. They told her to leave the village before the next moon. She was to go alone. Chisom will stay with his father. When she heard this, she begged for mercy. but no one listened to her. The judgment had been passed already. That night, she packed her wrapper and a calabash of water. She slept outside beside the cooking stone. Nobody spoke to her. The compound was quiet, but it wasn't peaceful. It was this kind of quiet that sits in the bones and refuses to leave. Before she left, she went to Chison's sleeping mat. She knelt beside him and touched his hair. He opened his eyes but didn't speak. She looked at him for a long time. She wanted to say sorry, but the word didn't feel enough. She wanted to tell he was her heart, that everything she did for him, even though it was wrong. But nothing came out. She kissed his forehead and stood up. Then she walked into the bush path before the sun came out. She didn't turn back. She didn't think she had the right to. Ugonwa walked for many days. Her feet blistered. She drank from streams and slept under trees. Some nights, she had animals near her. Some nights she cried, not loudly, just sob into her hands. She missed her son. She missed his smile, his laughter. But she also knew she couldn't come close to him anymore. Not after what she has done. She found a small village beyond the hills. They let her stay in a hut near the edge. They didn't ask her story. She didn't offer it. She just swept the compound, helped old women, and kept to herself. The days were long and quiet. She cooked alone. She didn't laugh much. But each time she saw a boy around Chison's age, her chest tightened. She would look away quickly. At night, she sometimes dreamed of ghosts. Not angry ones, just quiet ghosts walking through mist, looking at her like they have questions. She woke up sweating. She didn't know if she had been forgiven. She didn't know if she could ever be. But she kept waking up. She kept living. That was her punishment. And maybe also the only way she could try to make peace to herself. Weeks passed. Obinna grew strong again. Running through the compound, his laughter echoed like a drum of joy. Nnenna glowed with relief, thanking the gods with every breath. But Ugonwa carried her burden in silence. Her envy had not only fed but had also left her mark in the hearts of the villagers. Even in her sleep, she had the ghost word in her mind. The truth has risen. People in the village stopped talking about the ghost dreams. But the murmuring stayed. It stayed in the crack of the walls, in the way people look at each other for too long. Sometimes, when someone got sick for no reason, they will whisper, maybe the goat will return. But the goat never came back. The spirit has spoken once, and that was enough. Everyone learned something from what happened, even if they didn't say it loud. It changed the look in the village, made people to be very careful, quiet, like they were always listening for something that could speak without a mouth. Years passed. Ugonwa grew old in the small village. Her knee began to ache. She never remarried. She never left that place. One night she had a dream. She was back in Umeze, but it didn't look like the same. The trees she knew were taller now. The sky was brighter. In the dream, she saw Chison standing at the river. He didn't say anything, but he wasn't scared. He looked at her like he had forgiven her. Behind him stood a goat, calm and quiet. It walked up to her, touched her hand, then turned and left. When she woke up, her pillow was wet. She sat outside and looked at the stars. The wind was soft that night. She didn't know if the dream was real or just her mind trying to comfort her. But it felt different from other dreams. It felt like something had finally let go. She closed her eyes and whispered Chison's name. She hoped he was happy. She hoped he has grown into someone better than her. Then she sat quietly, the way she had once sat in the firelight long ago, when everything had first begun to change. At night, she sat outside her hut, staring at the stars. Tears slid down her face, but she wiped them quickly, hiding even from herself. I only wanted my son to be chosen as the next chief priest, she whispered. Yes, she knew the truth. Her envy had nearly killed an innocent child. The village would never forget, and neither would she. Her name would remain in shadow, whispered in fear and pity long after the sickness was gone. If you stay with me to the end of this story, thank you. I appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss the next story when it drops. There are more true life stories like this one, stories that stay with you.